You were among the best deputies that I've ever had the pleasure of working with, Mr. Farley. I
Thank you
won't
for that.
forget that one. However this turns out,
I got one more question. So, you mentioned when you were in the cells before, they were like, processing you that you shot deputies before and haven't been caught. What's that about?
It was a long time ago. She stopped me, denied me 3 times, but I saved her life one day, and she decided to hire me in, and she knew what I was, and but things happen.
She knew what you were, and what's that?
Just a little monster, and I've just always been a little monster.
Um, Pumpkin Award and Joe.
London's sweating like a motherfucker. He knows. Look at it. He knows he's about to die.
You've admitted to everything. What I would usually do is go through the case, etc., with the judge, blah, 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 read statements. But what I'm going to do is let you talk and let you say it from your side of view because the statements all relate to the same story. You've given exactly the same story, corroborated all of them. So
Yeah, I don't even know that either till now. So
yeah, so I'm not gonna let you say your piece, explain the incident, so very much be up to the judge
yeah, I understand.
what happens with you. Um, I'll be honest, from me to you, I'm rooting for you.
I understand. My emotions might have got the best of me. I might have said too much some days. That might bite me in my ass though. So
Yeah, but look, I mean, go and have a seat down over there, Farley. You'll be all
got it.
Hello, London.
Got it.
Do me a favor. Keep those weapons out of your hand, okay?
Oh yeah, I'll do that now.
All right. Because
I didn't realize.
Farley,
I
no,
know.
you're good. And I say this with as much respect as possible. But if I see you with a weapon in your hand during this, I will put a bullet between your eyes.
I understand.
Okay?
I believe you.
All right.
Lord.
just to let you know, Farley, we're going to deal up with Nyla first and then get you in afterwards, okay? Yeah, she's got
Good afternoon, everybody.
informative hearing, so
Oh, okay.
have a seat.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Nala's in trouble.
Alrighty. There's a couple of matters that we will address at court today, but before this court proceeds any further, and we will be addressing Marshall Canino-Up's Knives case first. I
What?
feel it is necessary to address the matter not just for the record, but for the sake of the people seated in this courtroom, and for those whom this case affects beyond these walls. We are here today because serious allegations have been brought against Supervisor United States Marshal Nala Canino-Up Knives,
Oh
a
shit.
woman who, until recently, stood as a symbol of law enforcement integrity in this Commonwealth. The charges leveled against her,
Well, Nala.
allegations of corruption,
Aren't we
abuse of
alike?
power, and breach of public trust are grave. They strike at the very core of what it means to wear a badge in service to our Constitution and to this Commonwealth. However, let me be clear. No one, regardless of rank, title, or reputation, stands above the law.
With the towns and command structures faltered, she was the one who stood her ground. She didn't ask for the burden, but she carried it. I was there for every mile of that war. I saw the kind of leader she was when it counted most. She wasn't barking orders from the rear. She was out front, first in, last out. When men were wounded, she shielded them. When fear took hold, she calmed it. And when I treated the dying, I saw...
Pumpkin, I think it's best if we go forward with the presentation of Mr. Farley's case. Afterwards, I'll deliberate and I will provide the court's decisions for both.
Mr. Farley, if you'd like to step up to the podium, we're going to jump in on your case. Mr. Farley here is charged with 1 times attempted murder and 1 times corruption. The date of this incident was the 15th of this month.
Howdy, Mr. Farley. Before we begin, let's swear you in, since this is an official trial.
Understood. Well, but first, before I get started, before I explain this event, there's nothing I'm gonna explain that's gonna justify what I did. I've been on duty for about 4 hours at the time with Darnell Chisholm. We've known each other for about a year and a half. Riding through all day, patrolling the Eastern Commonwealth as we always had. There have been multiple grave robberies throughout the day, Saint Denis, people suspicious activity, nothing out of the ordinary, just the usual things. Throughout the day, there have been graves getting hit for about 4 hours over at the church of Saint Denis. We just couldn't find nobody. We saw the McGee's over there, we saw the Vandals, but we just, can't see nothing, can't prove nothing, right? It's just how it is. We tried our best to stake it out, look around, stalk around, sneak around all day, but we finally gave it up after 4 hours, and we were on our way to the sheriff's office. And when we were there, we ran into Reggie Johnson, Corporal, and John Oaks, the man sitting back behind me on the right. I believe he's a newer deputy. I don't quite know him that well, actually. Known him for about a month, but I've only been around him a few times, actually. So anyways, I let Darnell know, hey, what are we doing over here? Why are we looking for this? We can't connect him to grave robbery, you know that. And he understood, and he went to tell Reggie. And Reggie's like, yeah, I understand, we went to go. Now, at the time, Oaks wasn't there. He didn't hear none of this conversation. And we're riding back towards St. Denis Church. As we're riding up to the church, he brings it back up that they are the ones that did it or something like that. He knows because they've been doing it the past couple nights. And I let him right there, hey, listen, we've been riding around here all day, 4 hours, me and Darnell. If we didn't see them there, we can't prove nothing. We can't see. If we didn't see nothing, that's just how it is. I said that's bad lawman's work. That's not how we do things. We can't be looking for these kids that didn't do nothing. And I don't know what he said. I wasn't quite listening. He was saying something back. I'm not quite sure. It sounded a little smart, but I'm not sure what he was saying. I just ignored it, and we keep riding, and then we're off by the telegram office. The telegram office, the bank area, middle St. Denis. And I think the conversation was brought back up. We might have been debating at the time, arguing a little back and forth. I felt like I was talking calmly. I'm not sure. It's been a couple weeks. I thought I was being calm. I might not have been. But he said something along the lines of "fuck off" while we were talking. And I was just letting him know that I don't want to be looking for these kids, regardless of whatever he says. He wasn't trying to harass them, was what he was saying. That's what he was saying. But for me, that's what it felt like. I'm not dealing with it. So he told me to fuck off, and I told him to jump off his horse. I was going to fight him right then and there in the middle of St. Denis. I'm wrong for that. Probably the dirtiest thing I ever did as a deputy. I've never stooped that low, no matter what. And I was ready to fight him right there. Now, he, as a good man himself, he did not jump off his horse and try to fight me in the middle of St. Denis. That's a good lawman right there. I understand that. But at that point, I knew that it was time for me to clock out. I'm a sergeant, right? There's no point in time I should ever feel that way about another deputy. I knew at that time it was time to clock out and, at least, go talk to Joe, let him know what I did, try to fight a deputy. So I get on Reggie's horse and we're alone. I don't have a horse, so we're going back to the sheriff's office. Him and Darnell Oaks are back by the telegram office. And as we're riding through, I let Reggie know, hey, I gotta go clock out. And he says, "Well, why you gonna go clock out for that?" I said, "Yeah, I mean, I tried to fire him. I gotta go clock out." I was right up to the back left side of the St. Denis Sheriff's Office, as I have so many times before. And he's like, "Well, are you really clocking out?" And I was like, "I'll go check telegrams." And as I'm walking up to the door, I see Oaks and Darnell ride back in to where we're at. And as I'm walking up the door, Oaks says, "Where are you going? This conversation's not over." I told him at the time, "Yeah, it is over. The conversation is over." And as I'm trying to walk inside to check telegrams, I see Nico Montana walking out the door. Now, Nico Montana, I've known him for about a year. We were sergeants together last year. He's a great guy. He just came back about 2-3 days ago, so I greeted him as he walked out the door. And as I'm talking to him, the deputy brings the conversation, the argument back up. This time a little more aggressively, a little loudly, I felt like at the time. And then so I nodded and listening to Nico, and as the deputy over aggressively starts bringing it back up, I let him know, yes, the conversation is over. You're trying to bring it back up in front of Nico. And then that's when Nico literally just walked away because, I mean, Nico's been around a long time. He knows where this is going, and he just want to hear it. And so Oaks continues to try to argue. I try to walk away. And I don't know if I tried to walk away one or twice, but from what I remember, as I tried to walk away back to the door, and he told me no to get back here, the conversation wasn't over. And at that time, I told him it was, and I tried to walk back into the door. Before I got there, this man tried to walk in front of me and block me with his back to me in front of the door to get in and tell me the conversation wasn't over. So I grabbed him by the neck and put my gun in his back. And he had the nerve to ask me what I was doing at that time. And it made me a little mad that he asked me what I was doing with trying to choke him with the gun to his back, and after all the shit I was trying to do to get away from him time after time, trying to run away. With his back turned, so I grabbed him. Now, I don't know if I was going to shoot him or not, but when I grabbed him with the pistol and put it in his back, he said, "What are you doing?" Or something like that. And that's what made me shoot him, honestly, because he asked me, "What am I doing?" The question is, what the fuck was he doing? I'm trying to run away from this man 4 to 5 times telling me alone, and he has the nerve to ask me, "What am I doing?" as he's trying to block my doorway. And that's really what made me shoot him. And now, if he wouldn't have said that, I don't think I would have shot him. But once I shot him, I knew it was over with. I tried to execute him, and I shot him 5 more times to make sure he was dead. Sorry if I was breathing through my nose too hard. I was getting a little frustrated. I'm sorry thinking about it.
No.
So I tried to execute him right then and there. And then as he fell to the ground, I believe I shot him 5 more times. And then I walked inside and turned myself in. And that's basically the facts from my side of what happened.
Thank you for being very thorough, Mr. Farley. You've chosen today to appear in court without any representation. Am I correct in that?
That is not by. I've tried. I've contacted all lawyers available, and there's nothing for me.
Understand. Mr. Farley, what in the immediate moments after the incident, what was going through your head?
At that time, I knew that my career was over with about a year and 3 months as a lawman, and I felt bad for anyone who ever put care in for me. I can't say I felt bad for him at the time. I felt rage and confusion on why he would let me go. But at the time, I did wish he would have died. There's no question about that. I can't take that out of me, and this is how I always been. I'm being honest. When I was in there and they were taking me in, and I'm glad he's alive now, and I regret all decisions, but there's no taking back what I did that day and how I felt in that moment.
I understand. Has there been a moment in the past where your rage has taken over you in such a manner?
No, not that I can recall.
Have you had the opportunity to speak to this deputy since the incident?
Well, quite quite weirdly, the day I was released on bond, on my way back from Coulter, because that's really the only place to live, is this man was fishing in fucking Coulter, ice fishing, or it was over there for some reason, and I was trying to get a fishing pole, and I didn't know it was him. He might have thought I did. I really didn't know it was him, and I asked him if he had a fishing pole, and then you know where I can buy a fishing pole at.
Is there anyone here that will provide further testimony for you, Mr. Farley?
I doubt it. It's all the guys right here.
I could, Your Honor.
Of course, Doctor. If you wish to provide further testimony, you may step forward.
Now, Your Honour, as part of one of Mr. Farley's bond conditions, I had him go for a psychiatric evaluation because, having known Mr. Farley for a while, this was out of character for him. And so I thought perhaps there may well be something. So it's one of those stipulations, like I said, I put him up for evaluation.
Well then, Dr. Canino of Knives, the floor is yours.
To spare my patient from having everything aired out into the court, I will read out a summary of the session and play a part in the testimony of his honesty. Mr. London Farley exhibits symptoms consistent with battle exhaustion, melancholia, and mild manic episodes, conditions likely stemming from a pattern of recurring life events that placed him in positions of authority.
I said I didn't have
often
nobody.
without adequate
She
support
spoke
or
up on her own.
preparation.
Thank the Lord.
His understanding of leadership was forged under the very structures that confined and defined him, creating a paradox wherein he learned to exercise power while simultaneously being subject to it. Farley is not a premeditated criminal, nor is he morally corrupt. The incident in question was not the result of inherent malice, but rather a singular, tragic moment, a convergence of circumstances that could have been prevented through intervention at multiple junctures. He is fundamentally honest, devoid of deceit or pretense during his session, and consistently transparent in both his intentions and actions. It is my professional belief that he is deserving of another chance, and I've given this opportunity to people who have done far stranger things than him, because I believe that to be the capability of anybody in the Commonwealth. With proper psychological intervention and a concentrated effort to address the deep-seated trauma at the core of his behavior, there is every reason to believe that such an event need never occur again in his lifetime. It is my firm belief that both deputies require psychiatric observation, given the events that led to the incident and from the incident itself. Mr. Farley is not the type to be easily aggravated, and therein he is not the type to be easily manipulated. In our time working together, this is the first instance I have ever heard of him acting out. In every situation, he was the first deputy to seek de-escalation, but due to the war, and something I have witnessed in several other patients, I understand behaviors and mindsets have changed. This is to be expected, and these things take time to adjust to. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Of course, Farley.
Is there anything else that you would like to say before this court, Mr. Farley?
I wish I could, but there's no emotions I can express that's gonna explain what I did. Unfortunately, I apologize to everyone I let down that put faith in me, but I know there's a lot of deputies. There's nobody here really that knows me, but my family was the Eastern Sheriff's Office. That's really all I ever had, and I threw that away when I decided to try to hurt a deputy. And I understand what I did was basically all I ever fought against was who I am now. I messed that up, so I apologize to the government and everyone I ever worked for.
Understand. Uh, Pumpkin, is there anything else for this case?
Your Honor, there is no excuse for the actions that he done. There are reasons for it, but ultimately, as Mr. Farley is aware, you put on that badge, you swear an oath. Now, that being said, up until this point, speaking to his peers, his superiors, and his colleagues, Mr. Farley has had an exemplary record up until this point.
I understand. Thank you, Mr. Foley. And thank you for everyone that has spoken in court today. I will retire to my office for a little while as I deliberate these matters brought before me today.
Never mind. Yeah, there's somebody that
Would you like a cigarette? It could be the last one we both.
you know, I listen. I know you didn't see me smiling back there, but I'm proud. I didn't see those events, but I'm sorry that you're gonna get in trouble if you get in trouble for it. But you did what you had to do, as you always have. They're war criminals. We didn't have no damn army backing us up ever, never.
No, you haven't had a lot of shit. I appreciate you. We'll see how this.
Yeah, trust me.
Better
There's no
smoke
way.
that cigarette.
Yeah, there was no state, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see if we both get to live or we can join the rest of them. You know, like what? Well, honestly, the rest of them, I feel like we didn't do shit compared to them. Like the ones that we hung, like Dillos, man, was fuck.
Yeah, I ain't out here sleeping with no women, or giving information, nothing. You ain't either. Well, I don't know if you are, but
Well, no, I'm married.
how do you know what you were doing in here till I got it? So I sat down. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
got
I was like,
in
why the hell
trouble
she?
before.
Yeah, why the hell she standing in the middle? What's she in trouble for? Well, they'll give us trial by combat. I'll miss my shot. Don't worry about it.
They make us duel each other.
Yeah, I'll miss. I promise. I'll take my glasses off.
Could you imagine? That's
We'll let a lawfully good person walk away is what I'll tell them, because you're a little more lawfully good than me, I'm sure, so.
I don't know if I'm considered lawfully good by most of the people after you're blowing up a bridge.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, here we go, about to find out.
Mr. Foley, we will begin with you. Please step forward. It never brings me any pleasure to hear of wrongdoing by any of the lawmen in this Commonwealth. Normally, the punishment for actions carried out by others in similar positions to you would be pretty severe. Uh, I don't doubt that you are aware of what the typical punishment would be. However, in your case, I am willing to offer you a second chance. And that is in large part due to your honesty and your clarity in presenting your case to this court. And in no small part due to the words of Dr. Kanina Whip Knives. It is clear to me that you have assessed and understood the gravity of your actions. Therefore, it is this court's decision and this might sound a little weird.
Oh shit.
This court has concluded that you are guilty of the charges you are being accused of. The punishment will be a complete suspension from any and all government related jobs for 30 days. Afterwards, you may apply to be hired by any of our government agencies,
What the hell?
even the law departments. They are obviously free to deny you, and they will have access to all of your records. But should any of the law departments in particular choose to take you back on, you will be prohibited from rising above the rank of deputy for 30 days after your hiring.
We did it, Reddit.
And I will also ask that you write a letter to the deputy that you injured. Be as clear and as honest as you have been in this court. And I will trust that Pumpkin will see that the letter is delivered.
Yep, I shall make sure that it gets delivered, and I'll also draw up the sentencing and paperwork as well for Your Honour.
Ain't no way I'm drawing up a
Your
letter, y'all.
Honor, I just want to quickly point out that the deputy is in this room if you want to address him directly as well.
Is he?
He's been in here the
Yes.
whole time. They let him never speak,
He's
just
at
so
the
y'all
back.
know. Hold on, let me prove that message real quick.
Deputy, please rise.
They never let him speak the
John?
whole time.
I don't want to delay these proceedings any longer. If he decides to be more attentive to the proceedings at hand, then we will deal with that as at a later time. But for now, my decision stands. You will write a letter to Deputy Oakes.
I understand.
Now, I know that the court's decision here might be seen as simple and maybe I am going a little too easy on you, Mr. Farley, but I truly trust and believe that you understand what your actions have led to. Given that your record is thus far, prior to this incident, untarnished, I think that you are deserving of this second chance. And I hope that you prove me right in providing this to you.
Your Honor, John seems a bit more coherent from the looks of it.
Deputy Oakes, are you here with us?
I am, sir, but I understand you already gave your verdict, so that is perfectly fine, sir.
Yeah, they never spoke to him the whole
Please step
time.
forward.
As you wish, sir.
Isn't that funny? That's crazy. They never heard his statement, never listened to his side, and then already gave his verdict.
A
I got
statement
lucky.
from you when I previously asked if there was anyone else that wished to speak probably would have been
Yeah, he never asked.
ideal then, Deputy.
He fucked up the whole thing. I got lucky.
However,
God
I
bless
will
Randall
grant you
Jode.
now the
God
space
bless
to
Randall Jode.
say
He
whatever
never
it is
asked
that
for
is
his
on your
side.
mind.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I believe a lot of this came down to a bit of a misunderstanding. Like Farley said before, we've actually not had the pleasure of working together that often. And I think a lot of this hinged down to two misunderstandings. One, my intention of, as Mr. Farley put it, interrogating or at least trying to push the people in question, when I merely just wanted to
He definitely
question
was.
them. One of his job as a deputy, in my opinion, is to obviously community outreach. Checking on people from time to time is what I was kind of aiming for.
He
But
already
I
gave
think
his
Mr. Farley
verdict.
misunderstood that.
There ain't no
and,
way.
In hindsight, I do get where Mr. Farley was coming from. He wanted to make sure that we were upstanding and upholding the law, which I agree with. And then the second misunderstanding was back at the sheriff's office. Like Mr. Farley pointed out, I had no intention of fighting him. As when he demanded that step off the horse to fight him. Yeah, I did no intention of fighting him, and as Mr. Farley correctly pointed out, I actually didn't know that he wanted to clock off, and go to sleep like he did. My intention at that conversation was to air out the how would I put this, the kind of like the misunderstanding, the difference of opinions, I guess. But I do still believe to this day that the actions that Mr. Farley took,
Sorry, my mic was muted the whole time.
which led up to that, was
I tried to execute him in the back of the sheriff's office with a
said,
double action revolver,
when he
and
grabbed
then
me on
shot
the
him
shoulder,
5
I
times.
was completely shocked at what was going off, and then from
Yeah,
that
they
point,
forgot to get a statement, but
everything was a blur for myself. So I woke up, multiple hours later in the surgery room.
the judge, just
the
kidding,
sheriff's
distance.
office.
That's crazy. They forgot to get his statement.
I will say though, sir, I agree with people being allowed a second chance. I try and be a very fair gentleman, I'll say. And if you wish to give Miss Farley a second chance,
I don't know if they're gonna let me in here for Nala's
would
verdict.
agree with that. In all honesty,
Well, I'll try to stay in here.
I understand. How have you recovered from your injuries?
it's been difficult. I lost an eye in the aftermath. Luckily, Mr. Colt Vanderhuge and Nico Montana were there to keep me alive. And I forget the doctor's name. I apologize. Like I said, it was a bit chaotic in the time. I
How's
forget
it
the
going?
doctor's name, but she helped.
I'm on a
An
trial.
immense amount.
The
in all
judge
honesty.
gave me the verdict and basically
There
just
were
freed me to go and told me I
times
could come
that,
back to
it
work
got
at the
touch
sheriff's
and
office
go,
in 30
but,
days. And they still have to accept their
I'm kind of getting back
deniement.
to what I were, obviously,
But they
minus
never
the,
forgot.
the
They never got
eyesight.
the victim statement. And now after he gave you the verdict, and basically you're getting let go. They're
It's been a
trying to
challenge,
get
but we're
the.
getting
Sorry, I'm
there, sir.
trying to talk over him, but they're trying to get his statement
Well,
now.
I'm glad to hear your recovery is progressing. Thank you, Deputy Oaks.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I tried to execute him.
My decision will still stand, Mr. Farley, and I would rather you write the letter to Deputy Oaks than speak with him now, as I want to make sure that you have the time to write with intention.